Welcome to Daily Dose. My name is Robert Cochran, PhD. And that woman almost spitting on her screen, that's Susan Scarlett. Hey, I got a question for you because you seem to have a pretty strong take on this. And it's been interesting for me, this early journey of getting the newly minted thing that I'll show this right here. I love this. This was a gift from my brother and sister-in-law.
Awesome.
So nice. It has my business
Very
cards up
cool.
there. Sits on my desk now.
That's
Um,
pretty cool.
you have a fine line, and it's not clear to me at all between PhD and Dr. Robert Cochran. Take that
Really?
on.
Really?
What is the
It's
difference
very
there?
much so to me. Well, for one thing, if you just put doctor and no one has a context, they don't know whether that's MD doctor or PhD
Correct.
doctor.
Correct.
And you're certainly not positioning yourself as an MD doctor. Um, PhD after your name is very clear that you did one heck of an academic, you took on a big something. And so to me, it conveys more specifically what that journey was about. That it was a heavy lift. It was not that being an MD isn't, but that this is what you did. You pursued a PhD. And I always add the focus of your PhD when I'm talking to someone, because it's so interesting and so unusual what you took on, and the challenges that came your way
Yeah.
along the journey. Does that make sense?
Yeah, oh, for sure. And it's a funny thing that I wrestle with. I think I told you about one of my favorite people who we've had here and we'll have again, Dr. Crab. I asked her about why does she make such a big deal about using that? And for her, it was definitely a matter of self-empowerment, of declaration to the world, using doctor versus, because you wouldn't say, hi, I'm Robert Cochran, PhD. That's weird. But to say, hi, I'm Dr. Cochran, or my wife makes a big deal about representing Dr. Cochran. And my mother-in-law, very sweetly, when we were down there in Vegas, was introducing me around. Oh, this is my son-in-law, the Dr. Cochran. And, that's very sweet. It has a different feel. And you're right about the context thing, because then people, are they going to start talking to me about, oh, my aching foot, or, you look at this for me.
Right.
I've got a sniffle. Yeah. So doctor is this broad word. And yeah, so I'm still not, I think, totally sold on it one way or the other. Either one conveys enough. And I'm going to keep playing with it and just see where it sits. There is the shorthand of the power of doctor, and then the explanation that comes with PhD. Well, what does that mean, right? And yet, like you said, fairly too, there's a misnomer potentially in doctor if it's misunderstood, right? And I'll speak to this within my department, even, because it speaks to the journey. The doctor thing, most people who go through the PhD I went through are on a PhD path as researchers. That's not formally my desire to be an academic researcher. I see myself as a lifelong learner. I'll always be researching, but that kind of research, I want to be, it came pretty clear pretty quickly. I want to be a clinician. Okay. Which sounds more like the doctor side of things, because I want to work with people directly and, be more like a Dr. Stutz type through an active program.
So during the height of your work, the academic part of it, the quantitative part of it, was a huge challenge.
Yeah.
Because there was not much out there to support the work you were doing, because it was
Right.
it was new work. And it felt like you gave it a whole bunch of weight, of importance. And it may have been that you didn't really believe that in your heart as much as you were kind of forced into that.
Give me a little clarity. Gave what? A whole bunch of weight.
The emphasis on the academics, the emphasis on the quantitative in particular.
Yeah. That early on in the program, as someone who felt fish out of water, I have to gain these people's respect. So I have to do what they say, which means quantitative, because qualitative was.
Yes, yes, you're hearing me. And then there was a point in which there was a transition, and it was pretty short, when you were bam defending qualitative as good stuff, and don't tell me it doesn't count, it's legit. I have all these people bringing me qualitative stuff. It counts. So that was an interesting experience. I do want to share one little thing with you. Having been married to an MD now for 50 years, there was a point probably 30 years ago, 25 years ago, where he just let it go.
Yeah,
It didn't matter to him. He didn't ever introduce himself as Dr. Scarlett.
I want to pick up on that exact thing, and we will
Okay.
on the next Daily Dose.
Okay.